All right, Exodus chapter 21. We're going to continue reading about the law in the days of Moses. The law concerning servants. Chapter 21. Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and in the 7th he shall go out free and pay nothing. If he comes in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she bore him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. But if the servant plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Verse 6, Then his master shall bring him to the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or to the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if a man sells his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the menservant do. If she does not please her master who has betrothed her to himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to a foreign people, since he has dealt deceitfully with her. Verse 9, And if he has betrothed her to his son, he shall deal with her according to the custom of daughters. Verse 10, If he takes another wife, he shall not diminish her food, her clothing, and her marriage rights. And if he does not do these things, three for her, then he shall go out free. She shall go out free without paying money. Verse 12, The law concerning violence. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. But if he did not lie in wait, but God delivered him unto his hands, then I will appoint for you a place where he may flee. But if a man acts with premeditation against his neighbor to kill him with guile, you shall take him from my altar that he may die. Verse 15, And he who strikes his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Verse 16, He who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he is found in his hand, shall surely be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Verse 18, If men contend with each other, and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die, but is confined to his bed, if he rises again and walks about outside with his staff, then he who struck him shall be acquitted. He shall only pay for the loss of his time, and shall provide for him to be thoroughly healed. Verse 20, And if a man beats his servant or his maidservant with a rod so that he dies under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his property. Verse 22, If men fight and hurt a woman with child so that she gives birth prematurely, yet no lasting harm follows, he shall surely be punished according to the woman's husband imposes on him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. Verse 23, But if any lasting harm follows, then you shall give life for life. Verse 24, Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. Verse 26, And if a man strikes the eye of his servant or the eye of his maidservant and destroys it, he shall let him go free for the sake of his eye. And if he knocks out his servant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for the sake of his tooth. Verse 28, animal control laws. If an ox gores a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be acquitted. But if the ox tend to thrust its horn in time past and has been made known to the owner, and it has not kept it confined so that it has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner shall also be put to death. Verse 30, if there is imposed on him a sum of money, then he shall pay it to redeem his life, whatever it imposed on him. Whether it has gored a son or gored a daughter, according to his judgment, it shall be done to him. Verse 32, if the ox gores a maidservant or a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man opens a pit or a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls in it, the owner of the pit shall make it good. He shall give money to their owner, but the dead beast shall be his. And if one man's ox hurts another's so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money from it, and the dead ox they shall also divide. Verse 36, or if it was known that the ox tends to thrust in the time past, and its owner has not kept it confined, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead beast shall be his own. End of chapter 21. Chapter 22, responsibility for property. If a man steals an ox or sheep and slaughters it or sells it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If the thief is found breaking in and he is struck so that he dies, there shall be no guilt for the bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there shall be guilt for his bloodshed. He shall make full restitution if he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. Verse 4, if the thief is certainly found alive in his hand, whether it is ox or donkey or sheep, he shall restore double. If a man causes a field or vineyard to be grazed and lets loose his animal and it feeds in another man's field, he shall make restitution from the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. Verse 6, if fire breaks out and catches in thorns so that the stacked grain, standing grain, or field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. If a man delivers to his neighbor's money or article to keep it in it stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he shall pay double. Verse 8, and if the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought to the judges to see whether he has put his hand into his neighbor's goods. Verse 9, for any kind of trespass, whether it concerns an ox, a donkey, a sheep, or clothing, or for any kind of lost thing which others claim to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whomever the judge condemns shall pay double to his neighbor. If a man delivers to his neighbor a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any beast to keep, and it dies, is hurt, or driven away, no one sees it, no one seeing it, then an oath of the Lord shall be between them both that has not put his hand into his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept that, and he shall not make it good. Verse 12. But if, in fact, it is stolen from him, he shall make restitution to the owner of it. Verse 13, if it is torn to pieces by an animal, then he shall bring it in as evidence, and he shall not make good. He shall not make good what was torn. Verse 14, and if a man borrows anything from his neighbor, and it becomes injured or dies, the owner of it is not being worth it, he shall surely make it good. But if its owner was worth it, he shall not make it good, and it was hired. If it was hired, it came for its hire. Verse 16, moral and ceremonial principles. And if a man entices a virgin who is not betrothed and lies with her, he shall surely pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuses to give her to him, he shall pay money according to the bride price of virgins. Verse 18, you shall not permit a sorceress to live. Verse 19, whoever lies with a beast shall surely be put to death. Verse 20, he who sacrifices to any god, small g, except to the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. If you shall neither mistreat a stranger nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Verse 22, you shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any way, and they cry at all to me, I will surely hear their cry. Verse 24, and my wrath will become hot, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. Verse 25, if you lend money to any of my people who are poor among you, you shall not be like a moneylender to him. You shall not charge him interest. If you ever take your neighbor's garment as a pledge, you shall return it to him before the sun goes down. Verse 27, for that is his only covering, it is his garment for his skin. What will he sleep in? And it will be that when he cries to me, I will hear, for I am gracious. Verse 28, you shall not revile God, nor curse a ruler of your people. You shall not delay to offer the first of your ripe produce and your juices. The firstborn of your sons shall give to me. Likewise you shall do with your oxen and your sheep. It shall be with its mother 7 days. On the 8th day you shall give it to me. Verse 31, and you shall be holy men to me. You shall not eat any meat which is torn by the beast in the field. You shall throw it to the dogs. End of chapter 22.